is going to be our task today? How to design a simulation or an experiment. So let me go ahead and share. Do it this way today. All right, so when we design a simulation or experiment, we need to think about what are the best possible options that we can use for any given situation. So let's take a look at this first one here. And it says, how could you design an experiment that could simulate these events? So we have different things that we have talked about to use to conduct experiments: a coin, a die, and a spinner. There's also a deck of cards we could use. We could use a bag with items in it, a random number generator. There's all kinds of possibilities, but these are the three that we've used so far. So letter A says, two friends go out to eat at a restaurant. One person will be randomly chosen to pay a bill. Which friend pays the bill? So if I look at that, and I'm going to pull up a website here that has probability tools on it. If I want to design a simulation for who is going to pay the bill between two people, to me, the one that makes the most sense is a coin, because a coin has two sides, has a heads and a tails. Of course, it's not going to show the tails when I flip it. And there's two people. So one person pays, tails another person pays. So for this experiment, this simulation, I would choose the coin because it makes the most sense for the situation that I am looking at. Okay. Does that make sense why I would choose the coin? Okay. Next one is 10% of the population is left-handed. Will the next person you meet be left-handed? So when I think about that one, I might use a bag of items, and I can change what the items look like. We're pretty sure my daughter is going to be left-handed. I could use a spinner, and I could subdivide it into 10 sections because 10%, so one of these would be 1/10 or 10%. And I can change, let's say, I want this color to be blue for left-handed. So here's my left-handed, here's my right-handed, and I can use the spinner. I can do the same thing with the bag. Make 10 of them and change colors, okay? So I might choose the spinner or the bag for this situation. Any questions about why I would choose those two? All right, let's look at letter C, and I want you to tell me what we would choose. Your teacher has 4 different versions of a quiz that she will distribute equally to the class. Which quiz will you take? So in this situation, which of the options, the coin, the die, or the 4-section spinner, would you choose? If there are 4 versions of the quiz, which one would you choose? Natalie says the spinner. Spinner. Monica says the spinner, the spinner. Lexus says the spinner. I didn't know Lexus had joined us. All right, so yeah, the spinner makes the most sense because I can divide it into 4 equal sections and have each section represent, so I can say version 1, version 2, 3, 4, and they all have an equal chance of being landed on. So the spinner makes the most sense for this situation. Any questions about this one? Okay. Now let's say I didn't have the tool available and I just needed to make a picture of it and what it would look like. So if I were to do the spinner, I would draw my circle and then I would draw my lines to divide it into as close to 4 equal sections as I could. And then I would label them version 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've created my spinner. Okay, now we're lucky that we have this website here where we can do a virtual or do it virtually and make it actually work. So for some of your assignments, I know you've been on here for one of them at least, but we'll use it for the project next week too. All right. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you, and it is to a Jamboard that I would like you to go to. All right, so we're going to be on this first slide here. And before we get to the question, I'm going to show you the tools that you're going to use. You are going to use the shape tool for this one, specifically the circle. You could even use the square if you wanted to, or the diamond for it. And then you are also going to use the pen tool. You can use the pen, the marker, the highlighter. You can change your colors. You can use the paintbrush, whichever one you choose. So the question says, the weather forecast says there is a 75% chance it will rain later today. Draw a spinner you could use to simulate this probability. So what I want you to do is create a spinner that shows a 75% chance of rain. So use the tools on the side to create a spinner that shows this probability. And remember to label so I know whose is whose. Now, Natalie, I think you're using the pointer instead of the pen. There you go. All right, so I'm looking at the ones that are here on the page, and the one question I have is, because I see we all divided into 4 sections, okay? And we've colored in 3 of those sections, which yes, is 75%. But my question is, how do I know that what you colored in equals rain? What do those sections need that they don't have? Well, we're not looking so much at a number up. Alex figured it out. All right, and what about your 4th section, Alex? How would we label that one? There you go. So 3 of the sections are labeled rain, and 1 of the sections is labeled no rain, because we're looking at the chance of and no rain, okay? So whenever we are designing a a spinner or a cube or a coin to simulate a problem, we need to make sure our sections are labeled for the situation. So this one is rain and no rain. So instead of coloring them in, we would label them rain or no rain. Does that make sense? All right, so let's talk about what you are going to do today. I'm going to quickly take away your editing rights. All right. So your main assignment for today is all about designing simulations. The first 3, you all have the same circle on it and a different scenario. So the first one wants you to design a spinner to simulate the probability of guessing correctly on a true-false test question. So if we think about that, true, false, how many options are we going to have on our spinner? Two. So I should see two different sections, and one is going to be labeled what? True. And the other one is going to be labeled false. So you would use your tools, which I don't have access to right now. Draw a line to split it in two, label one true, one false, and then explain your design. Why did you do it that way? The next one is multiple choice with 3 possible answers. So think about the sections that you would have, how many, and how you would label them. And then one with 4 possible answers. So section it out, how many do you need, and label them. And then the last few slides, you have a link to a virtual coin here for this one. So if you toss the coin twice, what are the possible outcomes for the simulation? And then whenever you get to these slides right here, when you click on it, it's going to take you to a Jamboard, and there are 3 different pages on it. What you're going to do is for this page right here with the 2 coin tosses, you have your results. You're going to go to the Jamboard, click the sticky note, and type your results on your sticky note with your name and save it. Then you're going to come back to this assignment, do 8 tosses, record your results, come back to the Jamboard, page 2, another sticky note, type your results, and put your name on it. Done. Come back here. Then you're going to do 50 trials. Okay, record using tally marks, total it, create the percent, and then come back to the Jamboard, slide 3, and another sticky note, put your name on it with your results. And then answer question 10. Any questions about your assignment for today? I will be here until 10:15 like always. If you think of questions as you're